What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, listen, I waited a couple of days because I wanted to see and hear what was going to develop. I don't always have to be the first person with a story that everybody's going to talk about anyway. So, I want to say salute to Triple G and Canelo for their performance. Okay, now, I wasn't particularly crazy about the fight. I really didn't like the fight so much. I mean, they did what they could do. I'm not, being pessimistic about it. They did what they could do. That's what I really mean. Not so much the performance, but they did what they had that night. But I'm not really impressed. Now, let me say this. This is a fight I told you guys I wasn't really up for it anyway. And I wasn't. I didn't see the point. And I can't say that the outcome of the fight, my thing is you have expectations and you never know what's going to happen until the fighters get in it. Now, example, pause. Okay, example. I expected Canelo to be more aggressive. Now, Canelo pretty much said he hurt his hand, broke his hand. He was saying his hand was going to need surgery. Okay, we don't know that. I don't know if I don't think a doctor told him that before the fight. Who knows? So maybe he does need surgery. Maybe that explains why he was throwing his right hand so much. He was throwing wild, hard shots with his left hook. He was the first couple of rounds of sloppy, wild shots. But at the end of the day, when I really sat back and looked at what was happening in the fight, Triple G, he was popping a jab, then he'd get away from the jab, then he was popping a jab. He wasn't doing enough. He was clearly losing rounds. He, caught Canelo with a couple of solid shots here and there. Canelo caught him with a couple of solid shots here and there. And basically, he was catching him with, a right hook to the body. He was catching him with the right hand. Now, for all of the people that says, well, let me address it this way. For all the Canelo fans that's saying, oh yeah, but he broke his left hand or he hurt his left hand. Shut up. Just shut up. If you're the same people that was saying, oh, Devin Haney didn't hurt his hand against Pitbull Cruz, he's just saying that. Oh, Floyd didn't break his hand or hurt his hand against Castillo, he's just saying that. For all of you people that say that kind of stuff about other fighters, but now when it's Canelo, it's an excuse. It's a reason. It's not an excuse for Canelo. It's a reason. It's an excuse for other people. Just shut up. Because you guys, and I'm talking to the ones who's guilty of that shit. You guys love to always say somebody's lying about an injury, but you're the same ones that say, oh, fighters always fight injured. Things happen. It's just when they fight someone that you like and they win. Oh, or they win, but the performance wasn't as good as they would like to have been. Or they lose the fight due to an injury. You guys deny it. So I don't want to hear, oh, Canelo hurt his hand. I don't want to hear that from you guys at all. Bottom line, I wasn't impressed by the fight. I didn't expect Triple G to do any more than what he actually did. I expected more from Canelo. Now, if Canelo hand was the reason or had anything to do with it, so be it. He's not the first and the only one. He's not the last. Okay? But let's look at something. We cannot make excuses for fighters. We cannot make comfort zones and safe havens for them so they can go out and pretty much, fight who they want. They've earned the right to fight who they want. No. The only time I can agree with that kind of statement, that you can fight whoever you want, means you've unified the division or something like that, or you've pretty much beaten all there is to you to really beat, but you're not holding up the division, keeping belts hostage because you're cherry picking. Okay? You're on your way out, and simple. Okay? As long as you're holding on to titles and you're called the face of boxing on top of that, and people are trying to call you the best even though you got your ass whooped, They're not calling the guy that beat you the best or at least better than you. Now it's a weight difference. Okay, all right. You guys don't control boxing. None of us do. And you definitely don't control the reality of what I see. Okay? Let's look at this. If the face of boxing gets beaten, well, the general thought is, well, whoever beats that person becomes the face of boxing. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Okay? But for Canelo, let's look at the privilege that he's had. Him or anyone else who holds the franchise championship are able to go up and down in weight. Okay, they don't have to let their belts go. If they hold belts in any other division, they don't have to let it go. They can just go. We all know that franchise shit, people have used it to do what? Duck their mandatories. Go up and handpick who they want. So like I said, you have champions, A-level champion, B-level champion, C-level champion. Okay, let's just say that. Because some guys get belts and they don't even, like, how'd you get a belt, right? If you're going to pick the B or the C-level champion and not the A-level champion, right? You have immunity to do so through the franchise championship. But at the same time, because of who you are, it's still considered a big accomplishment. Another title in your belt. Yet, there's better fighters that hold the titles than the one that you beat. Now, he lost to Bivol. You guys say he dared to be great. Okay, so he went up to 175. He beat Kovalev. He was the man. Nobody can beat Canelo. Only person can beat Canelo is Father Time or God. Canelo is, okay. Can't take nothing from Canelo. I see Canelo as a good fighter. I don't see him as a super fighter. I don't see him as special. I just see him as a good fighter. I don't see him as he's so more advanced than he used to be. I don't. I always saw him as a good fighter. I was talking about Canelo where I used to work at before nobody even knew who he was. And I was talking about this guy, and then when they finally saw him, God can fight, And basically, I've always said, I've seen the flaws in him. I've seen the things that he can and can't do. And I've made it known several times. Like, it's things that he can and can't do, but he does, but he can fight. Nobody's saying Canelo can't fight. Okay? But no, I don't see him as this super fighter. If he was as good as people make him to be, he would have beaten Bivol. Because he got beat by a basic guy that had a game plan and stuck to it. Simple. With basic shit. Fighting the way he was supposed to. Now you take a guy like Tank Davis, who fights guys way taller than him, break him down and get him out of there. Y'all call those guys bums, but those guys hold belts the same way that Bivol holds a belt. So this is what I'm saying about how people like to say things and show favoritism, right? Okay, now that I got that out the way. Canelo lost at 175. His goal was to become a champion at 175. Okay? Went to another division, won a championship. It didn't work. However, he's still the current 168-pound champion. Unified. Undisputed. Triple G just went up. Against who? Canelo. Made a huge payday. 45 million or something like that is the number that I heard, okay? He just came up and did that, but yet he lost, and he's still the unified champion at 160. If Canelo is going to keep saying, I really want to fight against Bivol, is for my legacy, it's important to me for my legacy, I want to fight Bivol, yes, I want to fight him, yes. Stop saying that if you're going to keep saying it depends on if he wins against Zurdo Ramirez. Why should that matter to you if he wins or loses? Bivol didn't come to 168 and challenge you for your titles. You went up to challenge him for his title. So if you are going to rematch him, the goal was to become a champion at 175. Which means if you fight him at 175 again, it's going to be for his title, right? So even if you lose again at 175, you still keep your titles, which would mean you lost a fight to Bivol, beat Canelo, lost to Bivol, but you're still the champ at 168. You understand? So, in fairness, if Bivol decides, and he already said that he would, come down and fight you at 168, it should be for undisputed. Now, if that happens, and Bivol becomes undisputed at 168, now does he stay there or does he go back up to 175? Because I'm pretty sure that if he comes down to fight Canelo at 168 for all the straps, there would be a rematch clause, which would mean we will have 3 fights between Canelo and Bivol. Do we really want that? So at the end of the day, is it about revenge to prove that you can beat Bivol, or is it about I want to become champion in another weight class to add that to my belt, to my collection, right? Add that to my legacy. Meanwhile, Triple G goes back to 160. Now, I don't know the full story, but I heard that there's a mandatory for his WBA. And I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know too much about the story. I'll look into that and see what's going on with that. But I'm looking and I'm saying, you know, people are always saying that Charlo and Andre and Benavidez all have to prove that they earned a shot with him. I agree, and at the same time, I disagree. For this reason, he chose to fight Caleb Plant. Why? Well, Caleb had a belt, which is exactly why I said when Benavidez had the belt at 168, why didn't he fight him? Oh, because he don't want to fight Mexicans. Okay, so basically this is what we're doing right now. This is what we're going to stick to. Pick and choose. So you see when you guys say, at this point, he earned the right to fight whoever he wants, I will never agree with that shit under them circumstances. I just told you what I feel. There's no way that you're going to tell me that it's okay for someone, especially undisputed, okay, have all the belts, but get the chance to just decide I'm going to keep fighting whoever I want to fight. You guys all know you feel like Benavidez would have beat Caleb Plant. You all said he had no chance against Canelo, but he took Canelo, 10, 11 rounds to finally get Caleb out of there, and Caleb was in that fight. It wasn't no walk in the park. So I always said Caleb can fight. He got the tools in the shed. It's how he uses them, how he puts it all together. Simple. Canelo was the better man. Now, you guys are saying Benavidez is hating. He's jealous. What the fuck do you mean? He's hating. He's jealous. What do you mean? He wants to fight the guy. So now you have a problem with the guy wanting to prove he's the best by fighting who's considered to be the best. At least one of. So he's a hater for wanting to fight Canelo? That sounds like fear to me. Canelo, you stay far away from Benavidez because I think he'll beat you. That's what you might as well say. What's the attitude towards Benavidez all of a sudden? Because he wants to fight him? Okay, like when Charlo says dumb shit like, Andre just want a payday. Yeah, he want a fucking payday. Who doesn't? So do you. Does he? What? Listen. How hypocritical can you be? Andre just wants a payday. First off, I don't believe by no stretch of the mind that Demetrius Andre is going to get in the ring with you and just lay down. I just want the payday. No, he wants the payday, and he also wants to whoop your ass. Okay? You say there's no value in fighting Demetrius Andre, which means you care about the fucking money also. Who doesn't care about the money? So now, this is my point at 160. I've heard Charlo call out Canelo at 160. Okay, Canelo hasn't been at 160 for a while. I've heard him call out Golovkin, okay? If Triple G decides that he's going to fight Charlo, and I've been saying I just feel like Triple G need to just relax, but hey, he wants to keep fighting, so be it, okay? It doesn't make a difference. Everybody that was saying Triple G's not the same. Yeah, he slipped. Now all of a sudden, if Canelo's your favorite fighter, you don't want to say that because then you're taking away credit from Canelo's victory. So now, oh, Triple G is that guy. Yeah, Triple G, yeah, man, they're the two best. Okay, wait. So then, if he decides to fight Charlo, and Charlo beats the shit out of him, like I believe he will, if they fight, I will put money on that one. Any one of you want to bet me, I will put money. Charlo will beat the shit out of Triple G. I don't want to hear, oh, but he's 40, because he was 40 when he fought Canelo. At the end of the day, see, we pick and choose who's old and who's not, right? Based on what favors our favorite fighter and all that type of bullshit. There needs to be changes made. There needs to be, fighters need this hunger. I'm not understanding this whole, how the fans don't see what's going on. I know where the fighters are coming from. I don't agree with that shit fully, but I know where they're coming from. But as fight fans, I'm not a fighter fan. I'm a fight fan. I'm not a fan of anything. Let me rephrase it. I'm not a fan of anything. I love fighting. Simple. And I respect a good, healthy scrap. So at the end of the day, or unhealthy, depending on how bad you get your ass whooped. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, you have two guys, one unified, one undisputed. Benavidez has been trying to get a fight with this man for the longest. His excuse is he don't want to fight another Mexican because he's Mexican and he represents Mexico. Okay, whatever. Now you have different Mexican people that's blasting him out for that bullshit, man. Stop making excuses. Well, help your countrymen make this money have an opportunity that they normally wouldn't have. Because if you was a fight fucking promoter, okay, if Canelo was a promoter, if Canelo was a trainer, would he abandon his fighter? If his fighter was going to be, and pretty much if he became a trainer, he trained another Mexican fighter, right? Because he might train somebody to fight against a Mexican guy. Well, it's different. He don't want to see two Mexicans fight. Okay, well, what happens when his fighter has to fight another Mexican? What are you going to say? I can't train you for this fight. I don't want to be a part of that. We don't fight Mexicans. We only fight the blacks and the cabachos. Huh? The Negros and the cabachos. That's all we fight? No. At the end of the day, fighting is fighting. We don't need people holding up the fucking division because of star power. We don't need people holding up the division because they get the chance to handpick who they want. We don't need people holding up the division because others are too fucking stupid to try to come up and say, nah, you know what? Look, you see how Usyk had only 2 fucking fights at heavyweight? Only 2. And he became mandatory for Anthony Joshua. You mean to tell me Triple G, who basically is past his prime, he's still a tough motherfucker though. He can take a shot still. And he has heart. I respect what Triple G does. But at the end of the day, and I gotta respect him for his heart, because you got these young dudes who sitting back trying to not fight certain people. But at the same time, Triple G never accepted the challenge of Andre Ward. He never accepted the challenge of Jamal Charlo. These are facts that he never did. I respect what he does when he's in the ring, is what I'm saying, okay? I respect him as a fighter in the ring. But let's be real. After that massive payday he just got, if he goes, which he said he's going to continue to fight, so whoever his WBA mandatory is, if this is legit, okay, what happens after that? I look at Jamal Charlo, I look at Demetrius Andre, and I'm trying to understand what's the holdup with these guys, because all of a sudden you haven't heard anything from either one of them. What are you guys waiting for? Demetrius Andre, I think, is about 35, 36 now. He's older than Charlo, he's older than Canelo, and so what are you waiting for? You guys are sitting back letting valuable time go by. And I'm trying to understand how, as a fight fan, you guys are so starstruck and such fans of these fighters that you actually applaud this shit. How many times do I have to say, whoever Jamal Charlo fights, I'm pulling for Jamal to win, but you hear me saying he's talking stupid shit right now. Same way Canelo's talking dumb shit about not fighting other Mexicans, he's talking about how Andre only wants a payday. Yeah, your ass want a payday too. That's what it's about. You fight for fucking money. It's prize fighting. That's what you fight for. Who the fuck doesn't want the payday? People, if Zerto Ramirez beats Bivol, who do you demand that Canelo fights next? I'm not even talking about y'all that say, oh, he's earned the right to fight whoever he wants. Because if he decided he wants to fight fucking Howard Stern, you guys would go, oh, that's going to be, yeah, Howard Stern. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, Howard Stern. Yeah. Who is it that you demand? Look, we're not spending our money to come and support this shit. We want to see you fight such and such. Oh, you guys always want Canelo to fight everybody. Canelo already has a fucking belt that says, a title called the Franchise Championship that lets him take easy fights. It lets him pick and choose. Trust me, if Devin Haney, if Tank Davis or Anthony Joshua or anybody, I don't care who you are, I will call you out on this shit. Because it's bullshit. You guys make it personal because it's Canelo and, oh, he's my country. I don't give a fuck about that. That's you guys and your little fanboy bullshit. You cannot fucking tell me. This is my whole thing. Ever since he got the titles at 160, he beat Caleb Plant. Okay? When he lost to Bivol, which everybody thought he was going to smoke him out his boots, and they talked about rematching, everybody was saying, I don't think he should fight him again. Bivol will whoop his ass again. And I feel like 168 or 75, Bivol beats the shot of Canelo again. Canelo made an excuse after the Bivol fight. Do you guys remember? He couldn't train the way he was supposed to. You know, training camp wasn't good. All this shit. You didn't hear that before the fight. It was after the fight. Now it's a hand situation. Remember when Floyd Mayweather sat on TV time after time and said, look, my body's breaking down. That's why he takes these little hiatuses away from boxing, let his body heal up, and right? And he's telling you. And Floyd starts planning his exit strategy. After he beat Canelo, I remember if he fought Ortiz first or after Canelo, but, you know, Ortiz and Berto and Robert Guerrero, the Ghost Guerrero, and then, you know, Conor, however it went. But bottom line is, he's telling you, my body's breaking down. He still is going in there. And at 38 years old, he was considered the face of boxing. Canelo at 33 has a lot of fights. Canelo has, what, like 60 fights? At least? Altogether? I'm pretty sure the wear and tear on his body is breaking him down. It's breaking every fighter down. But you have a favoritism title. That's what that whole franchise shit is. You have a favoritism title. Notice only him and Loma had it. Which also means you have guys in the past that never had that. So they didn't have immunity to just jump from weight class to weight class and fight whoever they wanted. No, that's not how it went. You guys wanted to see Floyd Mayweather fight fucking Andre Ward. If Floyd all that, won't he go up and fight Ward? Okay. Why don't Canelo go up and fight Andre Ward? He's a lot bigger than Floyd. Why didn't Triple G fight him? See, these are things that people overlook. Why am I even bringing this shit up? It's obvious why I'm bringing it up. Okay? For those of you who know, you know. But point is, how long is this shit going to go on? If Triple G fights his mandatory and beats this guy, who is it that you demand that he fights? I said the same shit, whether it was Tank, whether it was Ryan, you know, whether it's Fury and AJ, whoever. If you motherfuckers want to fight each other, fight each other. Stop fighting on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. This fight, to me, was a fight I just wanted to get over with. Okay, go ahead. either Triple G or Canelo win, whoever, and then move on. And okay, we don't want to see you motherfuckers in the ring again. Let's get this shit over with. If Triple G, if he beats his mandatory and he doesn't call out Jermall Charlo, or Jermall Charlo don't call him out, because Triple G has 3 belts, Jermall Charlo has 1. And I've been saying, I don't know why Jermall Charlo don't try to fucking unify the division. Now, he's called Triple G name out, and we know this is a fact. Triple G can't pull that bullshit. Every fighter that doesn't want to fight somebody can say, oh, you've done nothing. Oh, you have to prove. No, stop this shit. Look at Triple G's resume. And let's count how many quality opponents that he's fought. Right? Not too much different from fucking Jermall Charlo's. With the exception of Canelo. I believe Jermall Charlo would have beat Danny fucking Jacobs. Jermall Charlo did beat Derevianchenko. Which one of them beat J-Rock and Jarrett Hurd? One of them, well, I know they took turns whooping the high, but one of them, whatever. But bottom line, I think Jamel beat Rosario, right? And I think Jamal beat Hurd. However it went, bottom line, look at the names on their resume. His resume ain't no better. So how long can you, this is my point, how long can you hold on to titles and not fucking want to fight? What, does Triple G, look, you wanted to fight Canelo. If you won that fight, you're the undisputed champion. You're unified at 160. So fight Jermall Charlo. Fight Jermall Charlo. You guys need to be making it, like calling each other out. The fans need to make their voices heard. This is who we want to see you guys fight. We don't want to see you go fight some other. Don't the same way how I'm saying Jermall Charlo talking this bullshit about Demetrius Andrade is no reward in fighting him. Is no, you know, he's all this, he's broke, he just want to pay their bullshit. Triple G's not a shit talker. I like Triple G as a fighter, but Triple G and Jermall Charlo need to finally get it the fuck on. He's not going to retire. He wants to keep fighting. Cool. Then somebody need to take those belts off his hand. And if you beat Jermall Charlo, simple. We know what we have out there, but why are these fights so fucking hard to make? If fucking Canelo, okay, if Zerto Ramirez, if he beats Dimitri Bivol, we already know the bullshit that Canelo's talking. And I'm glad that Benavidez is making noise. Why? He has respect for Charlo, for Canelo as a fighter. But this shit he's doing, he don't respect. And he need to make noise. Because Canelo, by holding on to them fucking belts, you are holding up the division. That's what you're doing. Why? Because you're not fighting Benavidez. You fought Caleb Plant, who, like I said, most people think Benavidez would have smashed him. Whether that's the case or not, we don't know. And there's some other names. There's some other names at 168. I'm going to talk about them in a separate video that Canelo probably don't want to go near. Okay? Benavidez, if he's not going to fight Ramirez, if he beats Bivol, he's not going to want to fight Benavidez. And if Benavidez is a mandatory for any of his belts, Canelo is going to vacate that shit. And you know what's going to happen? Benavidez will probably have to fight someone else for it, and then he'll say Benavidez is Mexican, and you know, I'd rather see him with the belt and succeed and prosper as a Mexican as opposed to two Mexicans fighting each other. And I don't think Benavidez should settle for that shit. Yeah, I got this belt, but I want the other three. You understand what I'm saying? Stop making excuses and fight me. Simple. Now, he can't make him fight him, but I would not let him rest easy. I would let him know this is some coward shit you're doing. Let's just take the gloves off and say it like it is. If Bivol wins, okay? If Bivol wins, what's the purpose of you fighting him at 168, though? I mean, if you're going to do it, that's better for Bivol, because I think Bivol wins anyway. But if you're going to do it at 168, that's your comfort zone. All right? If Demetrius Bivol didn't have a title at 175, right, you would have never went up and fought him. So the goal is to conquer him at 175. But he comes to 168 and beats you, and then you exercise a rematch clause, he beats you again. Then what? Does he ride off into the sunset? Does he keep fighting? Now, he says he wants Ramirez to win because it's his countryman, but then at the same time, he wants to fight Bivol. That makes no sense to me. Certain things I think you shouldn't really even speak about because it makes no sense. It makes you look like a hypocrite. If he wants Bivol, why is he even wanting to see him lose to Ramirez? Because if Ramirez wins, then he's not going to fight Bivol, but he's not going to fight Ramirez either. What sense does that make? Please tell me how that makes sense. Now, Golovkin is not talking any type of shit, but Golovkin, you need to fight Charlo. You guys need to finally get it on and settle this whole, who's the best at 160 and get it over with. And pretty much Jermall Charlo is the best thing he can do is to unify the division and whoever's there, because it doesn't sound like Jermall Charlo wants to go up and wait. So at least if you're undisputed, you understand, well, that's a big accomplishment and you have that. Now, if you are going to stay at 160, there's no really big names at 160, no superstar names at 160. Okay, and the biggest name that's there, along with yourself, is Triple G. You beat Triple G. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he can fight whoever he wants. It's just that there's no big names there. So what does Jermall Charlo do? Do you finally go up to 168 so you can fight Benavidez? So you can fight Caleb Plant? Or do you stay at 160? Here's the problem. When you are a big fish in a small pond, it's hard for you to be the type of draw that you could be, because nobody's really interested in the opponents that's available to you. So this is why, even for me, when I'm saying, okay, he has a point if he wants to be at middleweight, nobody never fucking bothered Marvin Hagler about never going to a different weight class. But at the same time, this is my thing. You need to have opponents that people want to see you fight. So with Jermall Charlo being undisputed, the majority of people will want to see him lose. But as long as they're coming, that's what matters. Now, does he unify and then say, fuck it, I'm going to 168? I don't really think so. Because he's showing no interest in going up. Now, could he change his mind and finally understand it? And if he does, there's no purpose to go to 168 unless you're going up there to fight the best guys. These guys don't have to go up to 168, take some light fighting it. No, you don't need to do that. Especially when you're just saying, I can beat this guy, no problem. And you really believe that all you're doing is gaining some weight, right? You're going into training and you're going, your weight is up to go into this new division. Simple. And, nobody's getting any younger. So I don't know what type of time these guys think that they have, but, for Canelo, like I said, just like all of them, wear and tear. Nothing stays the same forever. Nothing. I like Canelo as a fighter. I think Canelo's a good fighter. Let me put it like that. He's a good fighter. Triple G's a good fighter. Charlo's a good fighter. Demetrius Andre's a good fighter. Caleb Plant's a good fighter. Benavidez, all these guys are good fighters. The thing is, if these guys are going to wait until they're out of their primes and fight, it's a disservice to themselves and the fans, and it really defeats the purpose. I mean, we finally got Holyfield and Tyson, but neither guy was the same by the time they fought. And Holyfield shocked everybody, and it was a lot of shock value in that fight, and it turned out it was actually competitive. But, we got it later. Okay, better later than never, because, whatever. But at the same time, we got Floyd and Pacquiao, not when it was, we got it 3 years later, put it like that. And they both still was like the top two guys, regardless. So I don't really bother them too about it. The fight, people just didn't like, the way the fight turned out. But at the end of the day, y'all, to be okay with guys sitting back deciding they're not going to fight the other top guys, I'll fight the lesser of the top guys. And nah, man, you can only do so much of that. That's why when I see certain guys they done fought 3 or 4 times. Like, that could have been other opponents. So at the end of the day, because this is what I think that even if Benavidez and Charlo fought, I don't think Canelo want to fight either one of them. He could have fought him when they was at 160 and Charlo was constantly calling Canelo out. I don't think he wants to fight either one of them. And truthfully, I think that, well, you know, if Benavidez beats Charlo, he's not going to fight Benavidez. If Charlo beats Benavidez, he's not going to fight Charlo. So if he does go to 168, it would have to be guaranteed. And if I come up here, even if it's a 2-fight deal, whatever, I get the... Otherwise, he's going to go to 168 and start from scratch. Usyk didn't start from fucking scratch. He had 2 fucking bullshit fights. Witherspoon and then fucking Derek Chisora. And all of a sudden, he's mandatory. So why you can't do the same thing for Andre or Charlo? This is the whole point of what I'm saying. Somebody needs to be mandatory for these guys who the fans, the public want to see fight, not no fucking body that you eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You. We're going to take number 15 and make him mandatory. We're going to move him to number 3. Then we're going to move him to number 1 without doing anything. We don't want to see that shit. We want to see the best guys go at it. So if Canelo has to get hand surgery, he takes some time off, does he come back? And you know, you can't listen. You can't live off of what Triple G did in the past. Triple G was not the same fighter. And if the left hand was the issue, we don't know if that's the issue. If that was the issue, okay? But in all honesty, when I watched Canelo fight, I told you guys from day one, I feel like Charlo will beat him, and I feel like Charlo will beat Triple G. I feel like Demetrius Andre will beat him, and I feel like Demetrius Andre will beat Triple G. Benavidez, I think, will beat him as well. I've always felt that they would. Now, Benavidez, I seen him get dropped. I forgot who dropped him. He got careless and got dropped, being cocky. But I believe that all of them will beat him. I think, to be honest with you, I think that Andre and Charlo, okay, I think that the both of them are better than Benavidez. I think Benavidez' heart, he has hand speed, he can punch, he's a tough guy, he's a tall guy, you know, he's big. That would be his advantage to them. Physicality. But boxing skills, I think they're both better than he is. And I think that it's going to be harder for him to catch them. Like, Charlo's a slick boxer. Andre is a slick boxer. Canelo he's in front of you. It's not footwork with him. It's just upper body movement. He knows how to move his head, but he has no footwork. He comes in a straight line. He will move his head, but him being a shorter guy, he still has to get close. And I think Benavidez is sharp enough to know, you know, and smart enough to know how to use his height and size against him. Now, question is this. If Bivol comes down and fights Canelo and beats him, do we get Bivol and Benavidez? What happens? Does he just say, okay, I got all the belts at 168. I just came here just to beat Canelo. I didn't come here to stay. Who knows? Now it's a tournament. See, not even so much a tournament. It's just vacant belts. But are we going to see the best fighters fight? Look, people keep talking about Canelo's on his way out. He's 33. So is fucking Charlo. So is Andre. None of them guys are in there. They're no longer 20-something years old. What are we going to see? This is what I'm saying. What are we going to see? Meaning, let's just say if Canelo doesn't have the belts or Triple G doesn't have the belts, does that mean that the division gets any more exciting? I would like to see somebody get a fire lit under their ass and decide, yo, I'm going to do what nobody else is doing, but I'm going to keep doing it. When it's all said and done, understand, Canelo, just like Floyd, like Ali, Ray Leonard, Ray Robinson, anybody, Marciano, your career is what it is what it is. There's somebody new out there now. I just don't see anything exciting happening right now. And I don't trust that the powers that be will make anything exciting happen. But I feel like us, okay, our voices, people pay attention more than you think they do. And they may hate what you say because it's true. They may hate the fact that they're guilty of what you're saying. But you have to always understand, these fighters have nothing without the fucking fan support. And as someone who loves fighting, it's like, I hate even listening to some of you talk and reading some of your stupid comments, because when you make comments trying to fucking make excuses for someone to duck, trying to make excuses for someone to feel, oh, I don't have to fight nobody else. I don't have to fight a top guy. I've earned the right. You never earn that shit unless you're no longer champion and you're just in the sport like, hey, I just love to fight. You on some Derek Chisora shit. I just love to fight. I'm not going to hold up the division and just hold on the belts and just keep fighting guys that nobody want to see me fight. Simple. Who really wanted this fight? But it's a big name, Canelo. Triple G couldn't do this shit by himself. Simple. And then look at their history. But I'm pretty sure if you watch this fight, you can see, yeah, Triple G's far removed from what he was. Canelo may be as well. And I'm saying, he's saying it's the left hand. Now, let's see what he looks like when he comes back. But against a quality guy. Not some fucking, do you guys think that is that hard to understand? For you to say, oh, y'all expect him to fight all the tough guys. You are the fucking undisputed champion. You have that bullshit favoritism belt. You have advantages that other people don't have. Let me give you a simple analogy. Y'all know I love to do this shit. Do you guys remember when WCW and the WWE had the Hardcore Championship? And then all of a sudden, the championship just got buried. Why? What was the fucking wrestling fans complaining about? Not so much for WCW. They just realized, you know what, this is like the lower viewership that we get when we have this fucking bullshit belt, right? This hardcore title. But what was the fucking complaints of the fans? Why do you have a hardcore champion, but all he's doing is fighting tag matches and non-fucking hardcore matches, but he's the hardcore champion? Well, you know, if you have a hardcore match every time they fight, then there's no value. So what the fuck did you make a hardcore championship for? So it wasn't well thought out. Because if you're a hardcore champion, I mean, the most you can say is, well, every match is not a title match. Some of them are non-title. But why are you coming out holding up your hardcore championship belt to fight in a tag match or a non-hardcore match? Then that belt is no different from the other ones. Simple. You take a tag team wrestler, but he's wrestling in singles matches all the time. Why the fuck is he in a tag team then? And especially if they're the champs. Does that make any sense to you? I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So if you are the fucking franchise champion and you can go up to whatever weight class you want and fight whoever you want, why not the Charlos? Why not Jamal Charlo? Why not Benavidez? I don't want to hear the excuses. And this is just a rhetorical question. Why not them? Charlo not Mexican. Andre's not Mexican. And guess what? The same way I just said what I said about Charlo. Let's not forget, Canelo told Demetrius Andre the same thing. You're a horrible fighter. You've done nothing. You've done nothing. You want payday. You want payday. Oh, ain't that the same fucking thing that Charlo told Demetrius Andre? So they both have the same excuse, but Canelo's justified, but Charlo's not. No, they're both full of shit with that. You've done nothing. Okay, what the fuck did Caleb Plant do? If that's the case. Because he's a good fighter too, but who did he fucking beat that warranted a match with you? Nobody thought Caleb Plant had a chance. I'm saying, no, he can fight. We'll see what happens. Nobody thought he had a chance. But again, after y'all called Caleb Plant trash, but it took Canelo 11 rounds, whatever it was, to get him out of there, well, if he was trash, he shouldn't have been in with him that long. Simple. Simple. It's not trash. Canelo's just better. Same thing. You want payday. Horrible fighter. You done nothing. You done nothing. Same thing Charlo told him. Him and his father both broke. They just wanted payday. All of you guys want paydays. There's not a fighter alive, unless that motherfucker don't have a brain in his head, that does not want the payday. I think it's about time to close this shit because, you know, this kind of stuff, when I talk about it, doesn't make me mad. But it does puzzle me how people are just so content with fighters feeding them bullshit. I don't care how much you like a fucking fighter. You guys know I don't pull punches and I don't do the favoritism thing. I speak what I really feel and what I see. I'm not telling you what I think you want me to say. And I'm not making excuses for no fucking fighter. There is no fucking fighter who's not planning on retiring, that this is my exit strategy. No, there's not one that has the right. I didn't say that shit when people were saying Floyd had the right. I'm like, nah, I mean, it's not that. No. Floyd wasn't fucking undisputed champion holding up. No. Floyd had belts, but here's the deal. Like I said, he's planning an exit strategy. It's not I'm not, the fuck would I make an excuse for anybody for? Okay, simple. You know you're working out on other deals, and it's like, all right, let me beat this guy. I'm gonna fight him. Listen, cherry picks do go wrong, but listen, he beats Andre Berto, but he knows his name is still the biggest name in boxing, and I want McGregor. I want McGregor. 300 fucking million. And look at what he's doing now, exhibitions. And he's still making way more money than these active fighters that keep wanting to compare themselves to Floyd and put themselves in the same shoes as Floyd. They can't walk in Floyd's shoes. That man beat 23 world fucking champions. All right? 23. Look it up. 20 fucking 3. Some of them ain't got 23 fucking fights. And they're trying to put themselves in the same category with Floyd. They didn't put the work in that Floyd put in. They didn't do that. Canelo has been fighting, and Canelo has fought some tough fighters. Canelo has a strong resume. But nobody, that's my point, nobody, at this point, he can just choose whoever he, no. And if you guys agree to that, just think of every fucking fighter right there that you don't like that's doing the same shit, but you complain about it. So this is not, let's all gang up on Canelo. This is any motherfucker that does it. But he is undisputed. He is the face of boxing, which means his responsibility, if you on a fucking level 10, that's where you stay. You don't go down here, but camouflage to look like you're still up here. And for these guys that's sitting back waiting and not fighting each other and making excuses, you know, you guys say that real quick, but it's like, you got to remember, Jamal Charlo and Canelo have the same exact fucking excuse for not fighting Andre. The same exact excuse. Now, Andre is trying to get the fight with Charlo. See, when these guys know a fighter is dangerous, they don't want to fight them. They don't. They don't. No matter how much shit they talk, they don't. And those are dumb excuses. So now that Triple G and Canelo's out the way, where do they go from here? That's what I want to know from you guys. That's what I want to know, period. Like, we'll see how things unfold. Who do you want to see Canelo fight? Look at the situation. Look at what's going on. Okay, he said he had to get surgery, so he'll probably be out for some time. Who do you want to see him fight? Okay? If Zurdo Ramirez wins, we know he's not fighting him. And he said he's not fighting Bivol if Bivol loses. Now, if he does win, if the fight takes place at 168, I still think Canelo loses. But any event that Ramirez beats Bivol, who is it that you want to see Canelo fight? And Mexican and all. Don't leave a fight out because he's Mexican. Who do you want to see him fight? Or who do you think he should fight? And if you with all of that, but he earned the right, I don't even want to hear from you. If Triple G, whoever this mandatory is supposed to be against, like I said, I didn't really see all of it. If he fights this guy and beat him, who do you want to see Triple G fight next? If he's not going to retire, he's going to continue to fight. He has 3 belts. You guys don't think it should be Charlo? Tell me who y'all want to see. And what do you really foresee happening afterwards? Because Everything is changing, but is it changing for the better? Leave your comments. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.